I want to let you guys know that I made the ultimate sacrifice for you today. I went and watched this movie without my wife. She really wanted to see this, but she was working today, and I wanted to get this movie reviewed for you right away. Needless to say, I'm not getting laid tonight, so you owe me a like on this video, and a subscribe, and a share on Facebook and Twitter. All right, I'm getting a little greedy. Just hit that like button and subscribe. I deserve that much. Alright guys, today I'm going to be reviewing The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Now at this point we already know who stars in these films, so I'm not going to rehash all of them, but there are some new characters, and the most notable is Natalie Dormer. You know that smoke show from Game of Thrones? She's in this, and there's a couple of other characters that seem sort of disposable, but everyone else that hadn't died previously is pretty much back in this. So the question is this any good? Now, before I let you guys know, I just want to let the fanboys and fangirls of the novels know that I haven't read the books. So I only go into these knowing the movies and sort of word of mouth from what I hear from other people, but I haven't read the books, so as the great Walter White would say, I'm going to tread lightly. I'm sorry to tell you guys, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but this movie to me was really, really boring. Now, I don't want you to think that I thought this movie was boring just because it was a political warfare and there was no Hunger Games. Don't get me wrong, I love this sort of stuff. I really, really enjoy Scandal. I like House of Cards. Hell, I'll sit down and watch CNN for like 3 hours just to listen to people debate, and it's CNN. I mean, holy shit. It was just we got no conclusions in this. It was literally a 2-hour setup for the next film. Basically, the plot is, without any spoilers of course, Katniss becomes the leader of this rebellion against the Capitol. The Capitol doesn't like the Defiance. Something fucky's going on with Peeta that we don't know about, but we start to learn a little bit more about it in like the last 10 minutes of the film. And it was like they took the first 30 minutes of this movie, which was great. It was nice to be back into this world. I love the characters in this, but it was like they took the first 30 minutes and then just multiplied it over and over and over again, and then changed the ending a little bit. It was really repetitive and boring. That's just the best way I can put it. Now, I want to get something off my chest, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree and disagree about this, and if that's the case, then let's have a friendly discussion in the comments below. I do not like Part 1 and Part 2 of these novel-to-movie adaptations. The reason why is it just smells of greed. We've seen it in Twilight, we've seen it in Harry Potter, we're seeing it now. I'm sure we're going to see it in The Maze Runner if that continues to do well, Divergent, and I'm sure it is going to happen for years to come. You know why? Because Hollywood loves to make money, and when they can make $500 million, in some cases $1 billion off stretching the source material, they will do it. Now, I can't tell you if that's the case for Mockingjay Part 1 because I haven't read the book, so I don't know if the source material is stretched, but I can tell you as an everyday moviegoer, it sure as hell felt like it was. And that's the problem that Hollywood has to figure out. They have these franchises worth billions of dollars, they don't want the gravy train to end, so instead of doing a trilogy, they go, you know what, let's do a Part 1 and Part 2. We know the consumer's going to go to the theater to see it because they're so invested with these characters and this franchise, and if they want to know what happens at the end, they sure as hell better see Part 1 before they say Part 2. Everyone's going to be talking about it and they're going to feel left out. Cha-ching! Easy money. I have to say, my biggest pet peeve are the individuals that read the novels that'll throw it in your face that you haven't. For example, The Maze Runner. Some people were like, oh my god, Jeff, there's a reason why you didn't understand it. It's because you didn't read the novels, dumbass. They explain all this stuff later on down the road. Oh my god. Well, do I have to go to the fucking library before I go to the theater to understand this and for this to make sense? The directors need to start treating these as if people never read the source material, but at the same time, cater to the ones that have. And if the people that read the novels can't accept the fact that they are going to have to change certain things to make it watchable on the big screen because novel format and movie format are two different things, and the stories may not convey the same because they're two different outlets. Come on! Now, you may argue that The Hobbit is 3 movies and it's just 1 book, and each movie's like 3 hours long. There's no denying that they're also milking that franchise, but the thing is, they're doing it in a good way, at least for me, and this is subjective. I've never read The Hobbit, and it doesn't feel like any of the films was 3 hours of filler. It wasn't like, oh, this is just 3 hours to build up for the next movie. Sure, there's some build up, obviously, but there's some events, there's some conclusions, there's some big things that happen. Unlike this Hunger Games Part 1, I really felt like there was very, very little that this actually added to these characters. There were some events that happened, yes, but overall, for an entire film, I really truly feel like they could have done this all in one film for this last book and just made it 2.5 hours or even 3 hours on the high end, but we wouldn't want to do that because we're going to lose a shit ton of money. I know I got off topic a little bit, but hopefully this all made sense to you. I'm just a little frustrated with the Hunger Games right now. I really enjoy this franchise. I really like the first one. I loved the second one. And I've defended this franchise against my friends that hated on this just for the sake of hating on it. And I just have to tell you that I really thought that this should have just been one movie instead of this part 1, part 2. Just make it a little bit longer and give us a conclusion. I didn't read the book, so it just didn't do it for me. For the individuals that read the novels, you may love this. And even if you didn't, you might have loved this. There was some great dialogue. The performances all around the board were good. I just was let down. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a rating of not bad .jpeg. So what did you guys think about Mockingjay Part 1? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with some of the points I made, or do you just think I'm batshit crazy? Let me know in the comments below. Just because I gave this a not bad .jpeg does not mean that I don't think you'll like this film. Some people may love this shit. For me, it was just a letdown. It was a big letdown. Katniss shot her arrow once in this entire film. That's it. That's all the action that you're getting. It's just, it didn't do it for me. But anyway, enough. I digress. Hit that like button, subscribe, and of course, stay Bouse.